might, if the fight's almost over, you go wait and tap dance.
You want to talk now? Oh, okay.
Sometimes esperas el momento de subirte al cuadrilátero, de pasar arriba del
So
cuadrilátero.
like, you can post this like 2 accounts.
Yeah. Que
On one
es el
time.
momento.
I wouldn't mind because I
Consider
want to
it
see
a
what happens.
collaborator. I was
that
curious
UFC.
because they've done that.
It's the welterweight champ, probably the best pound for pound actually. Is fighting Kobe Covington.
Because when it gets
Tomorrow
messy, sometimes you got like 5 different handles and companies that you're working with.
He's the champ.
So he's the welterweight champ.
The welterweight champ, like pound for pound number 1.
So he actually just on tonight's television this morning.
So he's like the same size as Canelo.
Yeah, he was like,
called like Canelo?
Let me tell you, man, that was one thing that fucked me up in the UFC when I started. Their weights, the fact that the weights were different with the names of boxing, I just lost them.
Yeah. It's easier because it's only like the original, what is it, 8 or 7 or whatever. They have the same original like weight classes.
just a different.
They're just different.
So if your top weight class is still heavyweight, right?
Yeah.
What's the weight limit on heavyweight?
Over
206.
205.
205 is still
They
like
don't
that.
have proof. The light heavy is 205.
So, but you mean the point is you could be like 205, or you could be like Brock Lesnar, be 260.
Yeah, you could be 206 or 260 pounds.
So, right now, yeah, the congressman, he just called out Hernandez. He was on Greg Stella. He's like, when you see 2 pound-for-pound fighters in your prime, you never respect their sport, fight each other.
So you're gonna come to the boxing ring?
Yeah, he made it. So Max Holloway, he's like, Canelo's what wakes me up in the morning. That's what gets me scared on my way to the gym. And
There's a reason why all these fucking guys come to
yeah,
boxing.
so Max is like, that's also the money fight.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, well, it's not about the money. It's, that's what gets me going every day.
When they say it's not about the money,
It's about the
That's exactly what it's about.
what is the guy like to make the main event?
I mean, Kamaru guaranteed before his pay-per-view cut, he might be getting like 1.5.
Canelo's
He's pound for
the
pound.
B side is he's making 10.
But the beef, I mean, Caleb guaranteed is making more than their main event and co-main event put together. And I'm gonna tell you, both of those are phenomenal, like top fights. Both of those are rematches, and both of the first fights are phenomenal. It's already clear why they disdain each other. They don't
I always say that. I mean, people complain about
they just see another man
everybody in the UFC fights each other and they make great fights. My perspective is this: that's good for you as fans. So definitely, I'm sure it's good for the press guys to cover too. But if you're the athlete, it sucks because
Canelo
MMA, I mean, in UFC, I should say,
for the undisputed middleweight title.
in a big
Saturday,
pay-per-view like
November
this,
6th,
the split is probably about 80-20 fighters to promoters. It's like the opposite
Oh, absolutely. But let me say, in 2000, at the very beginning of 2018, I looked up how many UFC, there was only 5 UFC fighters at that time.
There's only 5 what?
5 UFC fighters at that time that have made $1 million or more in a single
Oh, is that right? I didn't realize it
in
was
the
that
history.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
Now it's gotten better, but I was arguing with somebody who's a big UFC fan. I'm like, I can name you how many boxers that would
they
make
did
that
it.
non-pay-per-view. Non-pay-per-view.
Instrumental, you're fine.
Shakur Stevenson and Jamel Harris both made over $1 million.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they only had like 6,000 fans.
Shakur made 1.5 and Jamel made like, I think 1.3.
Really?
That was on 6,000
Instrumental, huh?
But they also have a good budget from ESPN.
No, absolutely. Great showing by Shakur, I might add. I spent some time with him here in camp, and literally the week before, they told him to not throw his left hand on the heavy bag because he's had lingering issues with his left hand for years.
hit the subscribe button. Hit your boy with the super chat. If you got some extra money. I appreciate you guys. We're here. It's basically second row, front row of the media could be in. And yeah, we're right here. So we'll get all these guys. We'll get them after. So stick around. Share with your boxing people. You guys probably are boxing people in your friend group. Send to people who aren't boxing people.
No, media, I have one program note, please. When you're interviewing the fighters today, you have to wear your mask. No ifs, ands, or buts. You might use your credential if you choose not to use your mask. Thank you.
Tell us how you
No gains. No gains for this Canelo. They're gonna have us ruin the money. Right, they're gonna have us ruin the money.
Probably a better fighter than Romero.
I agree.
He won't talk shit like Romero, but he's a better fighter. Or I should say this. It's not that he's a better fighter. his resume is much better. Like, in other words, if you're going to make a match for Gervonta and you're looking at who deserves it, let's say, based on his victories, Isaac Cruz definitely was it.
I agree. I mean, I was telling people that I felt that the Romero fight was probably Tank's easiest fight since his homecoming. Since Nunez, yeah.
I agree with that. I agree.
Did you know that this is the DraftKings social guy? The guy, DraftKings guy next to me. Their
On
social
social
guy.
media, you know, it'd be funny.
He won't be here for the fight though.
Listen, anybody that wears a fur coat with no
He
shirt
was
is
going
going
to
to be a problem.
He said he had a ticket for UFC already.
It was hot as fuck out there.
I was like,
He did
what
not
a
plan
damn
that shit, right?
traitor. I said, how you training us for that?
For his grand arrival again.
But I told him if they cost you had anything they could do.
I mean, that was like
Post
the
him.
week before Thanksgiving. So it wasn't
I was here for that. I don't remember that. Hey, big. Good question. You win these guys every month. They're obviously we're not going to do it. No, but I heard that Graham, they're going to wait for us until our I didn't write that. No, I mean, that's good. That's what we're not doing. You're not going to worry about that. You can do your best way to do your best. I figured, look, when they weren't a favorite. They were also doing this. Showtime, you guys are nasty, it's good as stuff. It's unfortunate to have to do it the same way. I know, but you're not winning. You're doing something Saturday. Here's the question. Let me answer this. I don't know the answer to it. I only know I guarantee you, without even knowing the answer to that question, I'd be willing to bet $100. No, UFC is not. The reason I don't want to bet that is I take back my $100. I bet $50. I'll bet the post. Come on, man. What's up with that? Really? Come on, what are we doing? They gotta have some weight on it. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they take it back to the office.
Tengo la experiencia, tengo la fortaleza.
I don't give a shit about none of that.
Nunca he peleado con él como yo hoy. La experiencia es muy importante. I take something personal, even better.
He's used to people coming in and just bowing down to him and being happy for them to check. He's gonna find out at the same time everybody else found out. Too late.
I just want to be undisputed.
There is no turning back.
El primero en este peso.
Plan B.
El primero en Latinoamérica.
Submit my name in the history books.
The masses have flocked in unison to the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, for the promise of history, crowning the first four-belt undisputed super middleweight champion.
I've dedicated my life to this sport, sacrificed a lot for this sport. Not just me, but my whole team. We're here to win those belts.
At the end of the day, I'm gonna use my skills, my experience, and Saturday night, we're gonna make history.
I can show you better than I can tell you. Tune in November 6th.
Saturday night, 7, round 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to the MGM Grand Garden Arena here in Las Vegas. Well, fight week is here. You can see it, you can taste it, you can feel the excitement, and you can smell the excitement as well. And now Premier Boxing Champions presents the final press conference for one of the most highly anticipated fights of the year, Canelo versus Plant, for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world, live on Showtime pay-per-view. This event is brought to you by Canelo Promotions and TGB Promotions and sponsored by Hennessy and Value. And now, without further ado, let's bring out our fighters for this history-making night of boxing, champion versus champion, for the very first undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. First, the IBF title holder now making his way to the stage, accompanied by his longtime trainer, Justin Gamber, He's a Asheville City native, now fighting out of Las Vegas. He has dedicated his life to boxing, and he is eyeing this golden opportunity to become the very first super middleweight undisputed world champion. And he is ready. Making the fourth defense of his title, record 21 wins, no losses. He is the undefeated reigning IBF super middleweight champion of the world, Sweet Hands, Caleb Plant.
A lot of belts on.
And now his opponent, the unified world champion and a star of boxing, accompanied by his longtime trainer and manager, Eddie Reynoso, the fighting pride of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Boxing's #1 star and pound for pound great, the 4-division world champion, and the current WBC, WBA, and WBO super middleweight champion of the world, Saul Canelo Alvarez. We're going to hear from our fighters shortly. At this time, we'd like to acknowledge the outstanding cooperation and effort by the co-promoters in making this event possible, Canelo Promotions, along with President Tom Brown and the team of TGB Promotions. Well, it has been a very busy and exciting year for Showtime Championship Boxing. And there's much more to come, exciting scheduled the next 2 months in 2021. But nothing is bigger than this fight, this mega fight, Canelo versus Plant. At the helm and center of success for Showtime Boxing, my pleasure to introduce to you at this time the president of Showtime Sports, Steven Espinosa.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. As Jimmy mentioned, for Showtime Sports, 2021 has been one of our most prolific years on record. By the end of this year, we will have produced and delivered a total of 42 live boxing and mixed martial arts events from January to December, making it the second biggest year of televising combat sports in our history. Week after week, month after month, year after year, Showtime has been and continues to be the standard bearer for the sport of boxing. There's no other network that presents the sport with the quality, the experience, the clarity, the objectivity, and the expertise that we do. And that's why this fight, Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant for the undisputed super middleweight title, belongs here on Showtime pay-per-view, the highest quality presentation with the largest reach. Right now we're in the midst of a remarkable run of 7 fights in 8 weeks, 3 days away from the biggest fight of the year, obviously. Following weekend, we have another promising young star, David Benavidez, who's certainly going to be looking to make his mark in 168, followed by a unification fight on the 27th with Stephen Fulton and Brandon Figueroa, and Tank Davis pay-per-view, as well as Nonito Dordale returning, followed up by Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. But here today with our partners, Canelo Promotions, PBC, TGB Promotions, we're thrilled to be back here at the historic Grand Garden Arena at MGM. This is the home of historic fights. Roberto Duran, George Foreman, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, they've all fought here. This is a historic arena and the appropriate destination for a fight like this.
Hilarious.
Canelo has fought here 7 times, Plant twice. Previously on Showtime, Canelo has fought 5 times on Showtime, and we're thrilled to welcome him back. This will be Plant's second appearance on Showtime, and we're thrilled to have him back as well. Canelo, you know him by now. He is the consensus #1 fighter in the sport. Turned pro at age 15, never been down as a pro. There's a lot of discussion about where he ranks among the all-time greats of Mexican boxers. But that's the wrong question. The right question is where he ranks among the all-time greats from anywhere in the world. He's had 20 bouts versus world titleists. 11 of his last 12 fights have been against world champions. He's been a world champion in 4 different divisions, and he is universally considered boxing's pound-for-pound leader, and is looking to be the first Mexican in the 4-belt era to be an undisputed champ, and the first fighter from anywhere in history to be the undisputed champ at 168. Should Canelo be successful in unifying all the titles, he will have done so in just 11 months after winning his first title. If Plant wins and becomes undisputed, he will have done so in 2+ years, and that speaks a lot for the quality of fights these 2 young men have been taking. You know Caleb Plant, he is also a champion in IBF, world champion, undefeated. People ask, what does Caleb Plant bring to this fight? The better question is, what doesn't he bring to this fight? He's big, strong, athletic, an excellent boxer, good movement, strong defense, an excellent jab, and a hunger and a determination that has driven him to this point. So when you have someone as well established as Canelo is, pound for pound #1, the biggest star in the sport, the temptation is to assume that Canelo is going to be as dominant as we've seen him be. That's what we're used to seeing. But as Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friend. This is, without a doubt, Canelo's toughest fight, his biggest challenge since the Golovkin fights. And rightly so. This is a fight with a lot of personal animosity. This is not just the undisputed world title at stake. This is for pride. This is for legacy. This is for history. Don't miss it. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Reminding you, this is live on Showtime pay-per-view. You can order the event on showtime.com/ppv or virtually all the traditional cable and satellite providers. As Stephen had mentioned, it takes place here at the Grand Garden, MGM Grand Garden Arena, a historical venue. And my understanding that if you want to come see the fight live, there still are some tickets, limited tickets available. You can go to axs.com. And at this time, we want to hear from our trainer, the men who know the fighters the best. They've prepared expert game plans for their quality and valued opponents. First, we'll look at Caleb Plant's trainer, hear from him. His longtime trainer, he trains along with his father, Richie Plant. Please welcome to the microphone, Justin Gamber. Justin?
Hello, I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank all the members of our team that are with us day in and day out, that put in work every day. In my opinion, we have the best team in boxing, and because we have so many great team members, every one of them is a great team member. So I want to thank our team. I want to thank Snack, and I want to thank TGB and just, you know, Al Heyman and Louis DeCubas for making this fight happen. You know, it's kind of, it's funny to say, but saying that we had the best training camp, it almost feels kind of cliche, because I don't know, it seems like everyone says it, and I'm about to say it again. We've had the best training camp, and every training camp that we've ever had have been great for different reasons, and this training camp has had its challenges for different reasons, but it's been the best training camp for me and for this team. So just know that no stone has been left unturned. All the work has been put in. We've gone above and beyond to prepare for this fight, and you're not going to see a better version of Caleb Plant in the ring on Saturday night. No, the work's not done yet. You know, we still have 12 rounds of boxing to put in, and at the end of those 12 rounds, I have no doubt whose hand will be raised. It's going to be Caleb Plant, the first undisputed super middleweight champion in boxing history. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Justin. And now we'll hear from Canelo's camp. My pleasure to introduce to you at this time Canelo's loyal, longtime trainer and manager, Eddie Reynoso.
Buenas tardes. Antes que nada, pues agradecer a toda la gente que está aquí, que está apoyando esta gran pelea.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you all for coming to support this fight.
No hemos hecho un gran campamento, hemos hecho una gran carrera para este sábado poner la cereza en el pastel, como decimos.
This hasn't only been a great training camp. We have witnessed a great career, and this fight is, like you would say, the cherry on top for everything.
Hemos tenido grandes peleas con grandes peleadores de todos los estilos, zurdos, derechos, campeones y no campeones.
We have fought so many different fights against former champions and non-champions alike.
Creo que hay muy poco que decir de la carrera de Saúl, pero el sábado vamos a poner al primer mexicano, al primer latino como primer campeón indiscutible.
There is not much left to say about Canelo's career, but in the end, this Saturday, we're going to witness the first Mexican undisputed world champion.
Y a la vez respetamos mucho el trabajo del equipo de Plan, pero nosotros somos mejores y el sábado se va a demostrar.
We respect and admire Plan's work ethic, his team as well, but in the end, we are better and we're going to show that on Saturday night.
Y poner al boxeo de México donde siempre debe estar, en lo más alto. Y pues muchas gracias a todos los que están aquí presentes.
The goal is to be at the top, and thank you again, once again, for everybody here supporting this fight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eddie. We also want to recognize his father here, legendary longtime trainer. We say hello to Chepo Reynoso. Before we hear from the fighters, we do want to acknowledge our undercard for this big event, featuring 3 10-round bouts. Showdowns featuring in separate bouts two-time world champion Anthony the Dog Durrell and the Showtime debuts of former world champion Rey Vargas, who is still undefeated, and the knockout artist Elvis Rodriguez in separate bouts in our undercard on Saturday night. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from our fighters at this time. My pleasure first to introduce to you the IBF title holder. He'll be making called Sweet Hands, Caleb Plant.
What's going on? Appreciate all the media showing up today. I want to thank Al Heyman, my manager Luis de Cubas, Showtime, Steven Espinoza, and everybody who plans on tuning in Saturday night. Not much time left and really not much left to say, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Leading up to this fight, Canelo said, the Mexicans don't fuck around. Well, that's good to know because where I'm from, we don't fuck around either. So Saturday night, make sure you tune in. You'll be seeing the first undisputed super middleweight of all time. This is history, and you're looking at him. His name is Caleb Plant. Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. Also want to remind you the fighters and trainers will be available for one-on-one interviews following our Q&A from Brian Campbell coming up. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the unified world champion, looking to become the first Mexican boxer in the history of the sport to capture an undisputed title. Ladies and gentlemen, he is going to and aiming to cement his place as one of boxing's all-time greats. Please welcome the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, Saúl Canelo Álvarez.
Solamente quiero agradecer a todos por estar aquí, como siempre, apoyando.
I just want to thank everybody here for, like always, to be here supporting me.
Gracias a todos los que hicieron posible esta pelea.
Thank you, everybody, for making this fight possible.
Y como ya lo dijo Eddie, hace muchos años empezamos este camino para completar esto y estamos muy contentos de estar a muy pocos días de hacerlo.
And like Eddie said, we have come a long way to make this happen, and we are just days away from making history.
Y nada, agradecerles, no hay mucho que decir, nos vemos el sábado 6 de noviembre. Como saben, vamos a hacer historia juntos, gracias a todos, y quisiera aprovechar para darle a Eddie el reconocimiento de hace ya un año más o menos, más de un año, por la pandemia no se lo dieron, del entrenador del año.
We would like to recognize Eddie Reynoso as Trainer of the Year.
We didn't have a chance to do it with the pandemic, so I wanted to take the time to do it.
Muy merecido y creo que este año va a volver a hacerlo. Back to back.
This is very well deserved, and I believe it's going to be good this year.
Gracias.
Thank you very much.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our Q&A session. And to lead us at this time, my pleasure to introduce to you boxing and MMA journalist and co-host of Showtime's Morning Combat. Please welcome Brian Campbell. Brian.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Thanks to all the media for being here today. It's fight week, Las Vegas, 3 days out from history. But as these fighters know, sometimes the fight really begins when the fight is signed. And sometimes the promotional story, the journey, can teach us things. September 22nd, the press conference that formally announced this fight, we almost found out who was the new undisputed champion on that day in Beverly Hills. So let me start here, Canelo. What did you learn about your opponent, Caleb Plant, from what took place that day in Beverly Hills when this fight was announced?
No, nothing. It's different. When you're in the ring, it's way different. So I don't take nothing from there.
More or less the same question to you, Caleb. But really a focus on, were you surprised? I don't want to say how easily, maybe how quickly you were able to visibly get under Canelo's skin.
I mean, well, it wasn't my intention to get under his skin. And again, I think, you guys make a lot more of it than we do. I'm sure me and him both have been in worse scuffles than that. And I'm sure most people in this room have been in worse scuffles than that. So it's, again, like you said, when the bell rings, it's completely different. I don't take anything away from anything from the press conference.
Canelo, you made a great career fighting anyone, anytime, any style. When you look back over your run, what have you, or who have you faced that you think has prepared you to defeat Caleb Plant on Saturday?
No, I faced for many fighters, many boxing experience.
I want to slide that question over to Eddie Reynoso, your trainer. When it comes to developing a game plan to defeat Caleb Plant, what is your main focus for Saturday?
Cuando se trata de desarrollar una estrategia para vencer a Caleb Plant, ¿en qué te enfocas para este sábado?
No, pues en lo único que me enfoco es lo que sabe hacer mi boxeador. Hicimos un gran campamento, hicimos una gran preparación y creo que nos preocupamos por lo que hagamos nosotros, lo que vamos a hacer nosotros arriba del ring, hacerlo bien.
I don't focus on the opponent. I focus on what my fighter is going to be able to do. We had an amazing training camp, a great preparation, and we're going to be ready to roll on Saturday night.
Caleb Plant is champion versus champion. You've had an incredible journey to get here. When did the idea of facing Canelo Alvarez first become a reality to you in your career?
Well, I'm someone who, likes to focus on what's in front of me, and up until recently, he hasn't been in my weight division, so, I haven't really thought anything of him or anything of it. But, once he came into the division, I thought, this would make a huge mega fight, and here we are, so.
I've heard the phrase from you, whether it be at Showtime's All Access series or in many interviews, by any means necessary. What does that mean in particular to you winning this fight?
Just by any means necessary, getting the job done. And I feel like that not just myself and my team, we've done that this far to get to this point. And me, whether it's in boxing or whatever, by any means necessary, I've gotten here. I've had plenty of chances to bow out. I've had plenty of chances to step away and say, no, I'm done. I've had enough. And I haven't. So Saturday night, I can't wait for the bell to ring.
I want to direct a question to your own team, Justin Gamer, your trainer, father and trainer Richie Plant. When you look at the skills that Caleb brings to the table, what advantages does he have against Canelo?
Well, anytime you face the pound for pound best in boxing, you're going to have your work cut out for you. And we've had our work cut out for us before at the end of the day. And, we're prepared. We prepared our whole career for this night, fighting the best. And on Saturday night, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about.
Canelo, I've heard you say, to the degree at times, this is just another fight, although you certainly accepted and went after this fight because of your pursuit of history. I think if Caleb has shown you anything in the build, it's the mental toughness. Any means necessary, like he says, he's coming for you. Does that change your preparation at all, knowing you have a very mentally tough opponent across from you?
No, I always train 100%. I always train, obviously, for the style of my opponent, but I always train 100%, and I like the idea.
Caleb, it's not easy to defeat Canelo Alvarez, only one man has. It's not easy to win a close decision against him, considering his ability to land clean counter shots, heavy blows. Can you win a decision against Canelo? Is it a knockout? How does this fight look when you dream it, when you imagine Saturday night?
The way I see this fight turning out is, you know, Jimmy Lennon saying, and the new undisputed and still undefeated. And, you know, as far as the judges goes, he's had multiple close fights with Lara. Austin Trout gave him a good fight. Triple G has given him good fights. And but I believe that the right people are put in place to make sure that the right decision is made come Saturday night, and anything out other than that is out of my control. So all I can focus on is the game plan, me and my team, and the job that has to be done, and that's what we're focused on.
We'd like to continue this conversation with the media members in present here at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Steve Pratt, if you could tee up the first question.
Hey, Jordan. Shout out to women in boxing. Caleb, it has to do something for your mental psyche up here. You're sitting next to Canelo, all these accolades. His trainer is getting awarded Trainer of the Year at the same time. What do you do for mental health this week? And with all the media around it already saying that Canelo is going to win, and with mental health being such a big topic in the United States as it is right now. So what do you do to keep sane so that it doesn't get under your skin?
I mean, like a lot of us, you know, people are going to say what they're going to say, but they don't get the insane. I get the insane. So I can't focus on what other people have to say about me or what do they say I can accomplish. If I had listened to them to begin with, I wouldn't even be here. So again, I'm focused on the game plan. I'm focused on what I got to do, and what people say or odds makers, you know, that has nothing to do with me, and that's none of my business.
Canelo, buenas tardes. ¿Qué significa para ti que ya no te están poniendo en la ecuación de los mejores mexicanos? Para muchos eso ya se logró. ¿Qué significa como mexicano que te pongan en la ecuación ya de estar en la historia como los mejores boxeadores, no solamente de México, sino de todo el mundo?
No, pues al final del día para eso trabajo, ¿no? Para eso estoy aquí, para hacer historia y para que me pongan como uno de los mejores peleadores en la historia del boxeo, no solo de México. Entonces me siento muy orgulloso y eso es lo que me motiva para seguir en este camino.
Gracias.
The question was, how does it feel to not only be considered one of the all-time Mexican greats, but one of the all-time greats worldwide? And Canelo, still I try my best to be one of the all-time greats.
La pregunta para Saúl Canelo Álvarez. Osvaldo Príncipe, TNT Sports, Argentina. Saúl, tanto como Plan, hemos hablado ya muchísimo de la pelea. Pero al hombre le pregunto, lo veo con esa expresión. ¿Dónde está su cabeza a esta altura del miércoles, pensando en la balanza, viendo la cara de Plan? ¿Qué pasa por el alma del boxeador? Quizás los periodistas no podemos percibir, pero ¿en qué está pensando con esa expresión tan para adentro Saúl Canelo Álvarez a esta hora de la conferencia?
En ganar. Eso es lo único que pienso, en ganar. Visualizo la victoria, visualizo cómo voy a hacer las cosas arriba del cuadrilátero y siempre visualizo eso. Es lo único que pienso esta semana, ¿no? En ganar, en hacer las cosas como las tengo que hacer.
The question was, as far as what goes in, what's your thoughts as far as before the fight, before the weigh, sitting next to Plan? What goes in your head, not just as a fighter, but as a man? And Canelo said that only one thing goes through his mind, and that's winning. That's the only thing he's concerning about. Everything else is beyond him. The only thing he cares about is what's going to happen inside the ring on Saturday night.
Saúl, Jesús López, Deportes Vegas 1460 AM. La pregunta es, Fin de semana bastante interesante para nosotros los mexicanos. Checo Pérez va a estar corriendo el Gran Premio de México. Tú vas a estar peleando por algo que no se ha hecho antes. ¿Llegaste a hablar con Checo Pérez acerca de esto, de lo que esto puede significar para la alegría del pueblo de México?
No, no he hablado con él para nada de esto, pero la verdad es que a mí me motiva y me enorgullece mucho que el mismo fin de semana estemos buscando algo grandísimo para México y la verdad que me siento muy orgulloso de eso y de representar a mi país.
Gracias, Saúl.
The question was that this weekend, Canelo is not going to be the only one trying to make history, but Sergio Checo Perez is also going to be participating in the Formula One Mexico Grand Prix. And so the question was, what does it mean to him for two Mexicans to be on the verge of making such great history? And Canelo said that he hasn't gotten to talk to Checo Perez yet, but that it motivates him absolutely, the fact that he can make history as well as Sergio can, and that hopefully it can happen that way, and it can be an unbelievable, unforgettable weekend for Mexican fans everywhere.
This will be our final media question.
Caleb, Adriana Jimenez, Filipino Boxing. Caleb, you've been underestimated throughout your career, and now you have this chance to become undisputed at 168. How much more motivational and sweeter would that be for Saturday night?
I mean, I've been the underdog. Maybe this is like my third time in my career, so you know. But it's a place that I like to be. I like people rooting against me. I like being the underdog. I like that position. It gives me extra motivation. But you know, fighting for the first undisputed super middleweight championship of the world, you don't need much more than that. So I'm focused. I'm locked in. I'm ready. I'm relaxed. I'm calm, and I'm focused.
Caleb, do you have any final words for your fans, for your opponent, on how Saturday night's fight will turn out?
Showtime pay-per-view, just make sure you tune in. Like I said before, this isn't just the biggest fight of the year, but when you're tuning in this fight, you're tuning in to witness history as I get crowned the first undisputed super middleweight champion of the world.
Canelo, we'll give you the last word. What goes down this Saturday night?
No, agradecerles a todos, más que nada agradecerles, espero que estén viendo esta gran pelea, es una gran pelea, una pelea histórica. Ahora sí la catalogan como pelea del año por todo lo que significa y espero que los fans...
And you know what? The best thing you can do is tune into this fight. It's going to be history, and you're not going to want to miss it. You're going to be witnessing something that you're going to remember for a long time, and I hope you can enjoy it.
All 4 super middleweight world titles at stake. The first undisputed champion in 168-pound history this Saturday night, Las Vegas, this arena, and only on Showtime pay-per-view. You can pre-order it right now on show.com, that's SHO/PPV. Few scant tickets remain at AXS.com. Thank you so much to the media members for showing up today, and the fighters and their teams, and all those watching at home. We'll see you Saturday night.
I want to get ready to do a face-off. I'm not going to risk it.
Deadline television cameras come over to Saul's side, we'll line you up. And print media and video to the left, to Caleb's side. And you'll start with him, and then we'll crisscross. You can take your time, but that's how we're gonna do it. So come up, especially the TVs, why don't you get moving? Over here on Saul's side. Thank you.
La prensa televisiva, por favor, vengan acá a la izquierda, sería la suya acá, para Canelo, y después para Plan, los que sean de medios impresos, vayan para la derecha de ustedes, ¿sí? Entonces, y después le decimos cómo proseguimos, pero primero a la derecha con Canelo, no, a la derecha con Plan, a la izquierda con Canelo, por favor, gracias.
All right, you're happy. Come on. You're the only one who caught it.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Bring media on the other side, please. Bring media with plan first. Video plan first. Media this side.
TV cameras over here. TV cameras, video cameras over there for Caleb.
Did you read the story?
Yeah.
You can feel free to curse me out. I'm used to it.
Lord.
Ok, miren para atrás con George. Para atrás con George. Y ya está.
Like 10 speeches out, right? What's that, Mike?
Cameras on the side, guys. Cameras try to face towards the banner.
Right down the middle.
And you're
okay. Yeah, no, that's no problem.
Yeah, just scratch. We I think the press conference was on Wednesday. I saw it the next day on Thursday. Or that Saturday with no stitches or anything like that, and so it hasn't disrupted sparring or training in any way. So like I said, just my sunglasses pushed my skin up a little bit, put a Band-Aid over because it was.
When it first happened, was there any concern from the team or from anybody that, oh my God?
Yeah, I think so.
That
I
might
mean,
be causing the fight to get postponed.
Naturally, I think, but shortly after when we looked at it, I mean, we knew it was nothing. But I went to the doctor to get checked anyways, with everything that's on the line. And he said it was nothing as well. So.
Things seemed a lot more calm today. Is that because the fight's nearing and you're locking in and focusing?
Yeah, locking in, focusing, and they didn't want us to do a face-to-face, so that was their call.
You okay with that?
I mean, I like a face-to-face, so it don't matter.
What do you look for when you have that? I mean, what did you see that maybe as you assess your opponent?
Nothing. I'm locked in, focused, and just ready to roll.
One of the things that was asked was about mental health, and I mean, it's with you, it's more about like rising to the challenge. What is it that keeps you so locked in on, like I'm going to be at my best when the situation calls for it?
Because you never know how many times you're going to be called, and so how many opportunities you get in life, and so when they come, you got to make sure that you're prepared. And I don't train more or less for different opponents. I haven't trained more for Canelo, and when I did all this extra stuff, I train every fight as hard as I can because I want to treat every fight like a world championship fight. That's how you become a world champion, and that's how you become undisputed.
What do you hope it says to the world if you achieve victory on Saturday night?
It'll just prove that I told you so.
Caleb, there's been a lot of...
Come down.
Why are you going to announce Canelo that he said they called it
I don't have one.
See what you can do.
Why do you think that despite the accomplishments, recognition, like you just see the shows up payday? I think a lot of you know that what I'm here. So I've said it many times before. And this is Caleb Pierce. During the fight, and I haven't put much thought into it, regardless. So think it was a big campaign that he takes off rounds, you know, because you don't get tired, you know, to your journey. The fact that he's known for taking off rounds before he sets up a big round, like about that 7th round before he got rid of Billy Joe. How do you make him pay for that when he takes off those rounds?
Caleb, you know, there's been a lot of talk about the Saunders and Lawrence fights, but do you feel you have some of the things in your skill set you can reproduce that Floyd did to actually beat him?
You know, I possess a lot of the same skills and attributes that those guys did. They gave him a lot of trouble, but I'm a full-fledged super middleweight. You can't like American, I possess a lot of those same skills and speed. But again, I'm 6'1.5", a full-fledged super middleweight. So I've been fighting this weight for a long time. I won the local national in the first 88 pounds. And so, you know, since those fights that he's had trouble with, who has he fought and proved that he no longer has trouble with that.
Did you have a chance to talk with Floyd about the fight? Did he, you know, offer any support?
Words, not too much, just a word or two.
And, you know, Canelo, with, you know, practicing on the golf swing and whatnot, do you feel you're the hungrier fighter for this opportunity? That'll make a difference on Saturday night?
I know I'm the hungrier. Yeah. You guys know it's
People questioning why Canelo pulled out of the fight in September for Mexico independence day. Do you think it has anything to do with the blood separating?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Kelly's supposing you're going to lose trouble. Well, Canelo freaks out. Where is he going to come over to us or are we going over there? You got another mask for...
No, thank you so much. I got it.
You got one. Okay. But, and so we're going to go to Canelo. Canelo's going to come over. Proceed.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Oh, my bad. What's up, brother?
So good to see you.
Man, it's actually, what's Caleb's trainer's name?
It's a good writing.
James, or what's Caleb's trainer's name?
Justin Gamber.
Justin. Justin.
Kelly, baby.
Correct?
Hello.
Hey, brother. I had a quick question for you, man.
Yo.
Just after the press conference, how did camp change because of the cut on Caleb's face?
You know, I wondered that day. I wondered if it would myself, but luckily it didn't change at all. He sparred right afterwards. We sparred twice that same week after the press conference, so it didn't change at all, and it has been an afterthought.
I didn't realize there was going to be this. I mean, it's very noticeable that it's still there.
It's a glorified scratch at the end of the day. I mean, we literally sparred the next day, so I mean, it's nothing. It's superficial.
So you have no concerns that, you know,
especially with it under the eye. You know, it's not going to drip into the eye. You know.
So even if it does open, it's not going to be.
You said you sparred the next day.
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry,
Absolutely.
my bad, Dan.
Yeah.
Did the headgear change anything? I know some people have the bar in the front. Anything? You weren't.
We didn't even change that, but we always wear good winning headgears. Not the one with the bar. You know, we didn't add anything special. He just wore the same headgear, and it was never an issue.
Is the commission going to take a? I mean, obviously we're here at the fight, but I mean, did the commission take a look at it?
Not that I know of. It's been such a minor thing that nobody's really talked about it. So I mean, unless they did it without me knowing about it, I don't think they even mentioned it.
We talk about Caleb's fast hands, his conditioning, you know, he's just a dynamo, but it seems as if his mental fortitude and his toughness is his ultimate strength. Can you talk about what you've seen?
I mean, I don't know what his ultimate strength is because it's a great point, you know. I mean, when you lose your mother the way that he lost his, and when you lose a daughter, and what that does to you inside, you know, I mean, could his physical abilities be greater than what that has made him and what he's gone through in his life has made him? I don't know, but he's got great physical abilities, you know. So, I mean, it's definitely part of the, you know, he definitely needs those qualities in order to win this fight.
Is this the kind of thing where, to me anyway, it seems very obvious that for him to win, he's got to be the boxer. He's not going to go in there and brawl. You know, what is your take on the style in which he has to win?
I think that he needs to he's going to have to mix it up. He's going to have to box for the most part, but then he's going to have to get aggressive sometimes, and he's going to have to step up to Canelo sometimes. You know, if he makes Canelo miss big on a big shot, he can't just float away in there. He has to jump on him while he's falling off balance and take advantage of the moment. So sometimes he is going to have to step up.
And I don't think that Caleb has ever been knocked down as a professional. My belief is that he's always had a good chin, unless I'm missing something. Do you feel like, I mean, Canelo has knocked guys out, lots of them in a multitude of ways, to the body, to the head, made them retire on stools, broken bones. What is your concern level, let's say, of him being able? We know what he can do with his abilities, but the ability, it's going to get hit. It's going to take it.
When somebody asks me that question about any of my fighters, you know, my first response is, if I don't know how their chin is, I don't want to know how their chin is, you know. But at the end of the day, I know that Caleb can take a shot. You know, he took some big shots against Muskategi, and I remember a right hand particularly late in that fight, and you know, I don't want to know how good his chin is, but you know, I'm confident in him, and I'm confident, more importantly, in this, because, you know, it's easy to make the wrong decision when you get hurt. You know, it's easy to fight back and then suffer a fate like Peter Quillen against Danny Jacobs, where he fights back and then, you know, suffers because of
the body, which is an expertise of Alvarez.
You know, I mean, we're going to be ready for that, but at the end of the day, if Caleb boxes the way that he needs to box, then body shots shouldn't be a factor. Like they weren't really for Triple G in the first Canelo fight. True. Because Triple G, going to the body, you risk getting countered up top. It's easier to get countered up top, and so Triple G, that's why he didn't throw as many body shots, and, you know, Caleb's a good counter puncher, so would it shock me if Canelo didn't throw a lot of body shots? Because when he did, he suffers for it. No, that wouldn't shock me.
Were you there for the Andre Ward sessions, and what ultimately did Caleb tell you he got out of that experience?
He told me about, you know, going to visit. Andre Ward invited him, and we're friends with that team, and vice versa. It was maybe a little bit before our training camp started, like a week or so before, and I encouraged him to go, you know, because Andre's been there. He's you know, a great fighter, and Caleb has similar styles. They're friends, and he's got a lot of knowledge to teach Caleb. So I encouraged him to do that, and he picked up a few things. And Andre came one time and watched one of our training sessions. So, you know, he's been helpful a little bit here and there, but nothing that is, you know, no drastic changes to our strategy.
Was that just for Andre? He just wanted to give him some advice and tips.
Yeah.
It wasn't like.
No, there was no changing of anything, or no, he's not going to come on in an official role. It was just friend. He was just a friend, you know, offering to help another friend.
He said, "Come on out. Let's talk about the fight."
We'll train for a few days, and then you know, maybe I can give you a few pointers. And Caleb wasn't doing anything at the time, and anytime I've always encouraged Caleb.
That was this past summer, right before the.
It was right before our training camp started, or shortly before. I can't remember.
Justin, what was the film study with Canelo? Were you looking at
honestly, that's a good question. Before, you know, there was ever any talk about Caleb and Canelo fighting, I had already seen a lifetime of footage of Canelo. So I mean, you know, sure, I've been watching footage, but you know, it's hard to look at footage and see too many new things because I've just been over it so much. You know.
So we know how big this fight is for Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
Trainer, it's a big deal also. I mean, you know, if you get the win in this fight, you're going to get a lot of accolades also. How, from your perspective, just for your own training, how important and how much significance does that have for you? Not a lot of guys today train an undisputed champion.
When I was 15 years old, my favorite fighter was Roy Jones Jr., the IBF super middleweight champion. And there were 4 champions in that weight class at that time, and we never got the undisputed champion like we wanted. You know, and I never got to see Roy Jones against Nigel Benn and Steve Collins and Frankie Lyles. And now, not only am I getting to see it, but, you know, I developed this IBF champion into this position. So it's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like a boxing. I'm coming full circle.
How old are you now?
Boxing. I'm 40.
Okay. So it's obviously very meaningful then for you.
Very meaningful. You know, I'm from South Dakota, and if you can name another significant person in professional boxing from South Dakota, then I'm going to give you a $10 bill.
I can only name Virgil Hill from North
Dakota. North Dakota, exactly. So yeah, it's very meaningful for me.
You talked about those experiences that Plant has been through. That Plant has been through, and that he'll need those moments to win this fight.
Can you say that again, please?
You talked about those tough moments that Caleb has been through, and how he may need them to win this fight.
Absolutely.
I mean, have you seen him in that mode before in other fights? I mean, has he taken on like those moments of truth, you know, that we expect of him?
There's part of that in every fight that he's been in. You know, so many times in Caleb's career, I've seen these pivotal moments, like in his third pro fight. You know,
what happened?
it was the first time I had seen Caleb, in my opinion, lose a round in boxing. And before we fought Uzcategui, I had him, and I'm not biased at all. As a matter of fact, if there's a close round, I'll give it to the opponent every time.
Okay.
And I had him losing 3 rounds out of 85 leading up to the championship fight. That's less rounds than Ali, Leonard, and Floyd Mayweather all lost in their first 85 rounds of boxing.
Were you there for the first debut also, right?
I was there. I've been his head trainer for all of them.
Okay,
and in his third pro fight, I remember he fought this kid named Brian Truman. Round 1, he hurt him. The guy recovered. And the second round, the guy came on strong. It was only a 4-round fight. And Caleb didn't get hit with much, but he just got out. I felt like he got outworked. And when you lose a round in a 4-round fight, I mean, you don't know what the judges are thinking. That could be pivotal. And I remember telling him that when he came back to the corner. I said, hey man, we cannot afford to lose this in round in a 4-round fight. And I remember his eyes, just like hearing that. And then he went out and dropped the guy 3 times and took him out the next round. And that told me when the going gets tough that, you know, he's not going to be one to spiral and get down and just, you know, he's one that, oh shit, I got to step up.
I was at that pro debut, by the way.
Yeah?
Game
Or was
was
that? Nope. No, that was pro debut. Sorry.
Pro debut.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
We're talking about his third pro fight.
No, I'm saying I was at the pro debut. It's a long time
That
ago.
was 47 seconds, round 1. Yeah.
So you know it's there. You know it's there in a big
Absolutely.
on this level too.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, how do I? Because I've never been on this level. I don't even know. Canelo's been on, you know, a lot of big levels. Is this bigger for him than it's been? I don't know. Maybe fighting Floyd is bigger than everything. But either way, I mean, yeah, sure. I've never seen it on this level, but I've seen enough to believe in it and trust in it.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Justin.
Good luck with you guys.
Really good
Thank
stuff.
you guys.
What do you need? How do you do? I'm on, dude. Be back. I just didn't hit.
It's coordinating everything.
Oh, yeah.
Fighters, camps, streaming TV,
By the way,
print,
you guys do this
big
like multiple
TV.
times a month. You know, it's not like it's not at this level.
It's doing a whole other event every time you know, except when you're with the same people and we start to get into a cadence.
At some point, though, they're going to bring Canelo over this way.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually smooths out. Where's Greg Beecher? He's on the list.
Alright guys, we're waiting for Canelo. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the like button. 75 people watching. Just do me a quick favor, hit the thumbs up. It's free, I promise. And it just helps with my algorithm. It helps people get notified for the video and see the video and stuff. So appreciate it. Thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We're getting Canelo next. So, yep. Stay tuned. I'm gonna flip this camera. Sorry guys. Got the shoulder out of the way.
Closer, they would. I'm just saying. I mean, when you go through those things, Jake Paul, it's going to challenge your mind. So you didn't get a lot of boxing. Whatever he's doing, that's really good. Love to have you guys out. Not let those boxers those moments, you gotta let us know in the situation, not necessarily just you know, life can get hard for
You know him probably better than anyone else in the world. What is he fighting for? What you know, this is fuel.
I saw that in your headline. I didn't read the story, but I saw the same. Anyone else said about this? I'm a master of his craft, and I feel like he is a master boxer. Kelly, 3 more questions.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate your help. Have a good day.
So, Daddy, where's Capo?
Well, he went back to his hotel.
You're gonna sleep into your like bunking together?
No.
You said you're sharing a room.
No.
So where are you staying?
Fake news.
Where are you?
Fake
Well,
news.
you told me.
Fake
you told me
news.
that. Where are you staying?
Tonight I'm at the Marriott.
Where's he?
He's MGM.
So why'd you guys say you're staying together?
No, I didn't say that. I said he asked me to.
Oh, I thought you said you were. I mean, I love you, but I'm not sharing a hotel room.
I hope PPC's lineup comes through this week.
How's it going, bud?
Hey, good.
So good to see you.
Yeah, bunched up.
I've been swamped. I told Ben.
All right.
I've been buried with the other stuff. I'm sorry I haven't done more videos, but we'll get some stuff done out here.
I always sort of suspected that it's either they're getting more promotion or they're getting for the right price, that might get people. What did you do? November 20th? What else is that day?
Alright guys, I only have 5 minutes. Do not repeat your questions, so pay attention. Take it easy, Jay. Right here.
Hi, Canelo. So good to see you.
They say, no, he's not going to be.
Did you notice that he still has a very noticeable mark under his eye?
I can see. But it's just a scar, right?
It seems like that, but you never know.
You never know.
Canelo, in the All Access, there was a point where you pulled your little boy aside and told him it was okay to cry. Why did you feel that was important to say at that moment? And
No, I say to him in that moment because I hear, Dad, I fall out but I don't cry. It's okay, cry. That's not bad.
Right.
It's okay, cry. When you need to cry, cry.
All right. Talk about, is that different from how maybe you were raised, or is that how you were raised and you feel like it's important for a male to say that to his kid?
How I raised, but that's no means I need to say to him what is that
Right.
thing.
Right.
You've had a lot of big fights, but because this is for Undisputed, are you even a little bit more just personally excited for it than maybe you have been for some of your other big
No,
fights?
I feel good. I'm excited for the fight, for being a undisputed champion. For me, making history is what I want. So I'm excited, but I'm at the same time I calm because this is what I do. This is what I know is part of my life.
Would this be the greatest accomplishment of your career?
Yes.
Well, why is that? Why is it so important to you?
Because just think, just five fighters in the history of boxing accomplished being in the spirit fighter. So I'm gonna be the sixth.
Canelo, Anthony Joshua. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Anthony Joshua visited your camp after the loss to Usyk. What does that say about what your camp's doing, and any word on that? He was wearing the no boxing, no life hat and everything.
No, he came to the gym and watch me spar and how I train, and just change a lot of a couple words, and that's it.
Canelo, what do you think of Andre Ward picking him to win, Plant to win in a fight that doesn't go the distance by knockout, essentially?
Oh, well, we'll see. It's gonna be a knockout for sure.
Would you fight Ward if he came out of retirement? How would that fight go?
I don't want to say that. Maybe he wants to come of retiring to fight me, but we'll see.
And also, do you have to be careful not to fall in love with your power in this fight and let him build a lead on
I
this?
love with my power.
Canelo, your golfing handicap you said was 9-10.
Right now, when I'm in training camp, it's around 9-10 because I'm so tight, so I can hit the ball.
Was Steph Curry better than you?
But yeah, way better. He started when he was 7 years old, so he. But when I'm not trained, I'm like probably 6 handicap.
Oh wow, very good.
Can you talk about how you know? When did you know that like your knockout power is going to dictate this fight? That a knockout will come in your favor?
When I'm moving up in weight, because not losing too much weight is for me. Yeah, I lose my power when I lose so much weight. That's why. And this way, this weight class, I feel strong. I feel good. So.
No.
I still got the weight, but not the same. So just thinking about it. For now, is in 174 is around 12, 16 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's too much.
Canelo, what do you think that?
Thank you so much, Canelo.
You said you'll be interested in fighting Jake Paul. Do you think Jake Paul is better than Demetrius Andre?
Pick them. Who'd I play with the last time? I liked him a lot.
Who's better, Benavidez or Charlo in your opinion? How personal is this fight? How emotional is it to get all those belts? What you work for, you're supposed to How did you prepare for his speed and his great footwork?
Saúl, quiero haber mencionado que tú en tu papel tienes más, en realidad, más de una derrota, ha mencionado mínimo 3. Cuando escuchas eso, ¿cuál es tu opinión?
Pues ¿dónde están?
Él dice que
Una cosa es que él diga y otra cosa es que esté en mi récord, ¿no? Ve mi récord y ahí va a aparecer. Una cosa es que digas que pienses lo que crees que viste, entonces una cosa es eso. Y aparte pues es mi rival, ¿qué más puede decir? No espero menos.
Con la experiencia de enfrentar a 18 campeones y a la hora de enfrentarte a Chile Plan, ¿qué tipo de elección buscas al este sábado?
No, voy a ganar, lo único que quiero es ganar, es ser campeón unificado y eso es lo único que pasa por mí.
Saúl, en ese sentido, tú siempre has querido hacer historia como la de este día y para eso te liberaste un contrato que te garantizaba millones. ahora piensas que si lo hubieras hecho antes, a lo mejor hubieras podido hacer esto en 160, 154.
Sí, la verdad es que sí, sí lo pude haber hecho en 154, 160 también lo pude haber hecho, pero pues mala administración.
¿Te da el físico para pensar en regresar a 160 y tratar de intentarlo una vez más o ya vas a 175?
No, la verdad es que dejaba todo mi poder ahí, bajaba mucho de peso. Subía bien, subía fuerte, pero no como debía ser.
Y la última de mi parte, evidentemente vemos siempre el cariño que tienes por tus hijos, por tu hija. Dentro de lo personal que puede ser, podríamos suponer que para alguien que pasó el dolor que pasó
No quiero que lo tomen de esa manera y no me hagas ese tipo de preguntas.
No, me refiero a que es alguien que no tiene miedo, es alguien que ya no puede sufrir un dolor más grande. Pues.
No, la verdad es que el miedo, pues no, nadie tenemos en la nación, ¿no? Por eso estamos aquí, yo no lo veo con miedo, por eso pues, somos peleadores, los peleadores no tienen miedo. No lo veo de esa manera, lo veo como un gran peleador que va a querer ganar y va a querer hacer lo suyo, pero al final del día todos queremos ganar, ¿verdad?
Hey, Canelo, UFC pound for pound tomorrow at Usman fight Saturday. He talked to Max Kellerman on Saturday. He said he'd be interested to fight you in the future.
Baby.
Canelo, would you be surprised if he came forward and tried to be physical with you? ¿Te sorprendía si Caleb Plant la noche de la pelea te pelea tú por tú y pues quiere pelear una pelea donde lanzan muchos golpes?
No me sorprendería y si es así, qué bueno, porque entonces van a disfrutar de una gran pelea.
Looking at the accomplishments in Canada, I know a lot has been said that you could potentially be up there with the greatest Mexicans of all time, and you keep saying wait, but if you win, you've accomplished more than any other Mexican fighter. Like, does that play in your mind? Está en tu mente.
No, la verdad es que lo único que quiero es ganar y seguir haciendo historia y esperarme hasta el fin de mi carrera. Al fin de mi carrera los números van a hablar y voy a estar donde tengo que estar, pero lo único que pienso ahorita es seguir haciendo historia, seguir haciendo peleas, porque pues, al final de cuentas me falta mucho por hacer.
But you know you're already there, right? You're already like in the top.
Espero que sí, espero que sí.
And finally, do you have respect or empathy for Caleb, what he's been through in his life? I was just wondering what do you make of what he's been through in his life?
Sí, no, la verdad es que siempre es duro pasar por lo que él ha pasado de todo y lo siento mucho por esa parte. No se supera eso rápido, pero ojalá que esté bien y bueno, que se en ese sentido y que se
Canelo, let's talk about the press conference and the motherfucker comment, right? Caleb Plant says that you took what he says out of context, that he in fact didn't mean it the way that you probably took it. In hindsight, looking back, do you feel that maybe you did take it out of context?
No, you can take that word. If you are my friend, you say that different way. It's good, yeah. But when you're in there, you say
let's talk about the only loss on your record at the moment. I mean, Floyd Mayweather Jr., it's not exactly a negative thing per se when you lose to someone who's known as one of the greatest of our time. Do you think that if you guys fought again, if you fought now and he was also in his prime, do you think the outcome would have been vastly different?
Definitely. No, because I'm more mature, more strong, more experience. Definitely.
Let's talk about the fact that Anthony Joshua was just visiting your gym. There's a lot of rumors circulating that he's looking for a new coach at the moment. Would you advise him to go with Eddie Reynoso? I mean, what's your...
No, he can do whatever he wants, what he feels good, it's okay. No, he needs to be his mind confident. So be good and looking for his best.
What did you make of him when you saw him, though?
No, good to see him. Good to see a great
Put on the face, bro.
That's why if you want to come down,
Put it around your face, bro.
Canelo, ¿me puedo sacar una foto con vos?
No, Eddie Hearn on his Instagram said that you have a desire to fight in the UK. Didn't you in the UK see you fight?
He's facing all the way over there now.
no.
Sí.
Are you online? Está en línea? Oh, okay.
Mira, aquí hay algo que quiero también dejar plasmado, que cuando se lleva una buena administración, estamos peleando el PVC, nos está prestando el gimnasio Bob Arum, al cual le agradezco. Y Eddie Ken viene a apoyarnos a la pelea, entonces eso quiere decir que vamos a hacer grandes cosas con ustedes. Para hacer las mejores peleas con los promotores que tengan los mejores boxeadores.
And you can see yourself then. I mean, again, you have respect and you like all these guys. And what they're going to do. If you could see, you could do a Benavides, you could do a Benavides, you could do another fight. In other words, just go where I feel it's just literally just the best way.
Así es, tenemos las puertas abiertas, llevo una gran relación con todos y lo que queremos es hacer las mejores peleas, las peleas donde se generen expectativas como esta que está en plan.
We want to do the best fights. Like, for example, this fight, we're fighting for all the titles, and we have the doors wide open for us, and we want to do the best fights that we can.
Well, if we become undisputed champion, what else will motivate Canelo? Like you always talk about history. What's the next history that he can go with?
Si él gana todos los títulos, ¿qué es lo que sí que lo puede seguir motivando?
Pelear con Charlo, pelear con Bivol, con Beterbiev, pelear con Benavides.
To fight with Charlo, Benavides, Bivol.
Hay muchos retos en esta división de 68.
Benavides, he says there's a lot of good fights at 168.
And 175.
Y dice 175.
También están ellos.
There's fights there too. Not a problem.
Do you think Canelo is still good? You just mentioned the broken orbital that he did to Saunders. Is Canelo still good at this point? That not only can he win, but he can win and send a message to the next guy, like, hey, I'm coming for you too.
Sí, es peligroso, un boxeador fuerte, con mucha experiencia, se está cada pelea va demostrando grandes cosas y que físicamente está en su mejor momento.
He's strong, he's experienced in each fight. You can see him growing and he's in his best moment right now.
Thank you so much, Eddie. I appreciate you.
Thanks a lot, Eddie.
Very good.
Eddie. Eddie.
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you.
Got it.
Ya la sentí. Ya me lo han de robar también. ¡Wow! ¡Qué bonita canción! Mira, hasta me dio unos goosebumps.
Es una canción muy linda. Iba a grabar a alguien, pero al final.
Sí, wow. Ay, mira, oiga, muchísimas gracias. Me dio mucho gusto conocerlo en persona. Yo ya lo había visto hace unos años en las islitas, en un restaurante aquí en Las Vegas. Y me decían, mira, él es el entrenador de Canelo Álvarez. Y yo dije, ay, pero estaba tan frisada que no me atreví a pararme, ir a saludarlo ni nada. Pero ahora sí, mire, como usted dijo ahorita, del destino, ¿verdad? Donde pone uno.
Voy a checar en dónde tienes.
Sí. Ok, muchísimas gracias.
Chapo, ¿cómo estás?
Bien.
Bien.
No, ahí tengo unas muy bonitas.
Yo me llamo Cristina Manisa. Y ya sentí la canción. Ya la sentí.
Ese es mi teléfono y ahí por WhatsApp me puedes mandar.
Ok, está bien.
¿Puedo hablar con ¿está listo?
Hey.
Muchas gracias.
Ándale, Reina.
Chapo, bueno verte. ¿Extrañas todo esto? ¿Estar en el gimnasio los días de la semana del pelea, todo esto?
Sí se extraña mucho porque, pues imagínate tantos años de estar aquí en la bola y de repente te dicen los doctores que ya no puedes ir, que ya no tienes que ya tienes que estar mejor y todo. Y no, pero esta vez dije, no, me vale grillo lo que digan los doctores, yo tengo que estar presente esta noche histórica y aquí estamos.
Hay algo que es diferente cuando estás aquí, sientes más vivo, ¿no? I mean, es más vivo que estar en la casa.
Eso, estar viendo todo el ambiente, todo lo que se maneja, se dice y todo eso, pues es la vida. Y más cuando, te digo, tienes muchos años ya viviendo en esto.
¿Cómo piensas Canelo acaba esta pelea?
Yo pienso que por el séptimo, octavo se acaba esto, yo pienso.
¿En octavo?
Sí.
¿Por knockout?
Sí,
So,
claro.
yeah. ¿Es algo especial que haga Caleb Plant que piensas va a frustrar a Canelo?
Él no puede inventar cosas, dicen en mi pueblo, chango viejo no aprende maromas nuevas, entonces él no te va a inventar ni te va a sacar cosas nuevas. Es el mismo que ha estado y Saúl es el mismo, nomás Saúl sabe cómo causar problemas, no como Saúl no soluciona problemas, Saúl causa problemas, y eso es lo que va a pasar.
¿Cómo sientes estando en el campamento de Canelo algo que personas dicen que puede ser el mejor boxeador mexicano de todo el tiempo?
Pues, todo bien. ¿Tu papá?
Todo bien, está aquí. Lo voy pronto. Muy bien, gracias. Nos vemos ahorita.
Ándale. Yo pienso que se ha trabajado y sigue trabajando porque quiere ser, si no el mejor, quiere ser reconocido entre los mejores del mundo, porque nadie tiene la verdad absoluta de decir yo soy el mejor, tú eres el mejor de todos. No, hay muchos muy buenos, pero sí puedes decir, soy de los mejores.
Sí, no. David Benavidez, muchas personas dicen que él es el the biggest threat a Canelo a 168.
Pueden decir muchas cosas, la gente puede decir, pero lo que importa es el sábado.
¿Sí?
El sábado Saúl va a ser el único con 4 títulos, los 4 títulos.
El único.
Entonces, la gente puede seguir hablando.
Ahí está. Gracias, Chepo.
Ándale.
Gracias por su tiempo.
Adiós.
Appreciate you, brother. What's up, big dog? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Yes, sir.
Everything good?
I think I got everything. I think. Hey. What's up, mama?
How you doing, baby? So good to see you. It's been a minute.
Yeah, all pandemic, I feel. Yeah, because I don't think we're all stuck inside.
Yes. Didn't we see each other in Saudi Arabia?
Oh shit, that was the last time.
That
Yeah.
was 19. Yes.
Yeah, that was still,
And then
yeah.
2 years ago. Para
Oh, wow.
diciembre. Sí, por ahí ya casi.
Right around now. Wow. I need another hug.
Good to see you.
I'll see you, you're gonna be in the middle?
Yes, I'm coming up in 2
Yeah,
seconds.
I'll see you in
Te
the
veo.
middle. Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna get going working on my stuff. Review and stuff. All right, that's probably it. All right, peeps. I'm gonna start editing. Appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned. Hit the bell icon, the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon. I'm going live for everything. Post-fight press conference. Tomorrow's undercard button, the subscribe button, and we got a camera here.
Don't subscribe
Hey.
to that. This is my guy. He's always doing camera art. He's always doing good work.
Hey, appreciate that. Appreciate
I
that.
didn't hear the prediction though. What was the prediction?
Let me get off this live. All right, I appreciate you guys. Thanks.